Good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Sarlos. I'm Kelly.
Good morning, I'm Karen.
Happy December.
Mm-hmm.
We are officially in holiday season.
We are.
I mean, I was a month ago, but
Yes.
now the rest of us are.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start off with show notes today. We have our Evening with Medium events coming up next week, which is really exciting. It's been sold out since August. Thank you everyone who bought tickets this year.
Yeah.
I know we said it on 2 weeks ago, but we sold out every single event this year, and that is
Yeah.
super exciting for us.
And to think that you sold us out 6 months before an event is just beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. I don't think your math is really off, but that's okay. Now, our 2020 dates are up and ready to go, so you can reserve your dates by reserving your tickets for April 24th, August 28th, and December 4th for 2020.
We have a second podcast series called Sips of Sanity. Those are 5 10 to 12 minute shows that run the first week of every single month. The very first show is always free and can be found at bysarlo.com. The other 4 remaining shows that go with it are available at patreon.com/bysarlo. And we're doing that so that we can monetize, so that we can pay off these beautiful cameras, our new setup, the new computer Kelly just bought.
And afford to not take a second and third job while we
Yes.
have to record everything.
Yes. So thank you very much for those of you who can support us on Patreon. And we still want to say thank you very much to each of you that is listening at bysarlo.com or whatever device and method you're choosing.
Because if you are someone who isn't maybe yet on Patreon, but you're sharing our free podcasts with family and friends
Yeah.
or coworkers, and you're generating discussion from them, then we very much appreciate that, because sometimes patrons come out of that. So thank you for your interest and sharing us. That's the kindest form of flattery, I think. Good?
Well, we have personal sessions. So believe it or not, I'm the one on the ball and she's asleep a little bit.
I meant good with that part.
Hey?
I meant good with that part.
Oh.
But you take it away, Karen.
Okay, so we have personal sessions available. Both Kelly and I have our own clientele base. You can go to the website bysarlo.com to submit a form for an appointment, and our contact information is there as well for email and phone numbers. You can have a session from anywhere in the world with either of us. We do those things by telephone, Skype, FaceTime, and Zoom. So you're more than welcome to connect with us and see us. Or if you just don't want to see us, then you can do strictly telephone.
And don't text us. Don't bother. We won't respond.
Oh, yeah, please.
It's a healthy boundary that we've set as practitioners, because our business lines are our cell phones and our morning alarm clocks. So we won't even respond to you.
Okay. Is that it then?
Yeah, is that harsh?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I think as long as people know how to connect, it's like calling a doctor's office. You don't call them on their cell. Like, there's certain things for each person.
Great.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Okay, so on to today's show. So I picked a universal law, and I think it's really appropriate to pick right now because of things that are going on, I'll say, in the world and locally. I can think of this law applying to each person individually, and I hope people are going to find it interesting and really sit and self-evaluate today and put the focus when they listen to this law on themselves instead of thinking about another person.
Good. I like that framework.
Okay, so this law is the universal law of honesty. And I just quickly want to say to the people who maybe are joining us for the first time and this is their first show, that there are many universal laws. Some people know it as attraction or abundance, but they don't know that there's honesty, responsibility, integrity, accountability, process. Oh my goodness, there are tons of them.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in and you're like, wow, this is new. They just came up with a new universal law. No, we didn't.
No.
This has been in place since the beginning of fucking time.
Yeah. Yes, that's very true. And that on our website, bysarlo.com, under Coffee with the Sarlos, or whatever device and way that you're finding the shows, whether it's Apple or iTunes or something, that there are other shows on the universal laws. So people can listen to this one and go, okay, I like that. Or it's interesting, or Jesus, it's making me think. and go find some of the other shows. And we did some of them on Sips of Sanity as well. I just don't know if those are all up for people to get yet.
No. So if you are listening and you follow both Coffee with the Sarlos and Sips of Sanity, one of the things that happened this year is we switched developers. We built a brand new, beautiful website with 9 Lives Design. And in that process, we transferred all of our Coffee with the Sarlos onto the site. So they're there for everyone. But Sips of Sanity was something that was previously just held on bysarlo.com, and we've since taken away. So we've actually chosen to share about 5 entire series, and those are on the website already. But now what we're doing is we're just sharing the first show of every week, and the rest of them will be uploaded over a period of time on Patreon, because we don't want to inundate our patrons with old things. We're trying to kind of intersperse all of the new content that's coming out every month, which is a lot, and then a little bit of old things that they can go back to and reflect.
That's good. I like that. I like to think that that there are people listening who can't support us financially and still have access to the shows.
Yes.
And then for the people who can and choose to or find value in it, can find extra things.
Because if you are a regular listener or hoping to become one, this is all about tools. This isn't just a nice light listen. This is giving you an actual toolkit, giving you plenty and plenty of resources to actually be able to know what to do with all of the information. And that's where we've tried our best to monetize in the most authentic way possible.
Okay, are we going to jump right into the universal law of honesty? So the first point, and there are several points that here go my hands. The first point that I wanted to make for people, and I think I did already, but a reminder, is to really listen to everything that comes out in the show today, to think of yourself. Because we can really pick on somebody else, a coworker, and immediately think, well, they're dishonest, so I'm just going to hone in on everything they're doing right or wrong. Or my partner, or a parent that I'm angry with. I'm going to invite listeners to really be self-reflective today and put aside those ideas for this particular show. Now, having said that, you could listen to the show twice and then think about it in terms of your other person that you want to. But if we don't work on it within ourselves first and we focus on another person, then it's really like we want to hold them to a higher standard and we don't want to be held to it. And you're annoying. That person, if that's you, you are one annoying person.
Yeah, you're the fucking know-it-all.
Yeah. And you're the one that people don't want to be around, or they hang around you because they have to. You're the boss, or, they can't get out of the job yet, or they don't know how to leave the marriage. They're stuck, but people will feel stuck with you. And if you like the idea that people are stuck with you, carry on.
As you were.
Yeah. But if you really value another person, whether it's a coworker, your boss, your employees, friends, neighbors, I don't know, just absolutely whoever, the person sitting beside you in the car, or the one you're having coffee with this morning, or sleeping upstairs in the bedroom or something. If you really value anybody in your life, then it's super important to sit and listen to the show and go, okay, what have they got to say about it? So if you're a note taker, get out your pen and paper. And remember, if you're on Patreon, we do follow up these shows with questions that are applicable.
But we don't, because we do that with Sips of Sanity.
Oh, shit.
Now, to be fair, though, there are questions that will always come back to the greater lesson of honesty. So if you're hoping for questions about that, you can go to things in Sips of Sanity on emotional intelligence.
Well, actually, too, Kelly, look, page 2.
Which is what?
Questions.
Oh, great. Okay. So you'll hear them and you can write them down.
Yes. So as we go through and we just talk about things, I know the people that follow our show that take out the pen and paper will want that out of this show. It's coming at the end of it in particular.
Okay, can I take a time out from today's show for a moment?
Yeah.
This is kind of like a little break in here.
Yeah.
And we don't do advertising, so it's not anything like that. But I want to take time to give a shout out to one of our listeners, one of our truly dedicated listeners. Her name is Sherry. And if you're listening, Sherry, hello. Thank you so much for this little tidbit. She listened to Sips of Sanity in November, which was on Grow the Fuck Up. And it was a bunch of like statements of of things that you can do in order to grow up. And not only did she take just such diligent notes, she took them and then actually made a kid-friendly version for her children.
Aw.
And she put them up in her dining room and decided that each night when they went to have, or evening when they went to have their dinner, that they were going to roll the dice and they were going to discuss one of the ways that they could grow up age appropriately.
Aw, what a great game.
Yeah, and so because she follows along in a tier on Patreon that allows these questions to go out, she was able to take them and make a kid-friendly version and apply it directly to her family.
Oh, see,
and
that's
what we want.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
Maybe what we could do then today is put out a little challenge to people and sending us an email showing us what they're doing or explaining what they're doing and how they're using the tools.
Yeah, I would love to be able to shout out to different listeners, and with permission, Sherry did say that was okay, to highlight some of the ways that you're taking this and really flying with it, because this is now good people raising good people.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So let's do a shout out for Alicia. She was a client who took a show and created a bingo card for the 15 forms of verbal abuse.
Cool.
So well, if you're hearing that, then go back into 2017. There's a show with Patricia Evans, The Verbally Abusive Relationship, and make your own bingo card. So she went on the internet, typed in bingo cards where they give you the format, and then she inserted however she wanted to do it.
Honest to God, if this show was a university course, I would have eaten it up.
Oh, me too.
If I could have had the chance to listen and learn in the creative ways that our listeners have done for themselves, just taken initiative and done it, I would have aced it and been so excited to do it.
Okay, so that's exactly what we're doing today then. And I know there are tons of people out there that are creative. I know in all different fields of work. So let's say to all of you, find a show and figure out a way of how you're going to implement it. And if you want, send it in to us so we can share that.
Cool.
And give you a shout out on the show. Okay, so back to the universal law of honesty. Okay, so first thing first, and I'm going to kind of go through it more pointedly today, is to make sure that you're focusing and questioning yourself about your own level of honesty, your own level of integrity, as opposed to expecting it of other people and not expecting it of yourself.
Yeah, this is her third time saying it. So if you're not getting it, this is going to be a struggle.
And being honest means being truthful. So I'm saying some basic things because I do believe that some people think I'm very honest because I'm getting what I want. And it has nothing to do with being truthful.
Well, and there are also people who are very mean, who do tell the truth, but don't do it with a nice intention.
Right.
And they pride themselves on saying, well, I'm an honest person, I'm a truthful person, but their intention is to hurt. Their intention is to take you down a peg or put you in your place or feel better than you because they're not delivering the truthfulness with also kindness. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't make you an honest person. Mm-hmm. That makes you an abuser.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I like what you're doing.
You can get to your first point now.
That it is the absence of lying. Okay. It is the absence of cheating. It is the absence of stealing. And I can say stealing and add things like stealing someone's time. Mm-hmm. I don't just mean stealing someone's possessions. I'm saying that we can go to work and be very dishonest because we shoot the shit. Mm-hmm. When we know that we could be vacuuming, or we know that we could be sweeping something, or going back and doing some files, or helping a coworker, or getting prepared for the next day, or asking someone else if they need help because we don't have anything to do. So we are dishonest in that we steal time from the company. And I think that should awaken some people, especially if you're paid, I'll say by the hour, or let's say by the job. So it's to question yourself as to, while I am here doing something of service, am I really being honest or am I wasting time? That's dishonesty. So I want to point out little ways in the show of how people can be dishonest and think, oh shit, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I take an extra 2 minutes on my lunch break every day.
Or I come to work every morning 5 minutes late, every single day. And I don't care. And I'm just trained everybody to expect me to be late. Oh, that's Bob. Bob's always late. Well, no, Bob, you're dishonest.
And selfish.
And untrustworthy. And somebody might say, whoa, that's big, but it's truthful because honest people know exactly what they're doing. So he knows Bob would know what he's doing. He's shaving off 5 minutes, adding it up that at the end of the week, that's 25. And at the end of 2 weeks, that's almost adding up to an hour and so on over. If I'm here 30 years, I basically, boy, if you take a calculator and add that, Bob may have a week's vacation or two there. Right?
Oh, more than that.
And so everybody else is thinking, oh, he just goes outside for a coffee break or a cigarette or whatever, taking time when it's actually dishonest. The other workers are sitting there working. They don't have an addiction, so they're working. But someone might think, well, no, I smoke, so I'm going out for my break. I'm allowed to. Maybe you're not. Maybe actually you've created your own rule. And it is dishonest. And it will be resented by other people, and it will come out in some other way. Because with that beautiful universal law of balance, it is going to be balanced somehow. And chances are you're not going to like it. So another point, that honest people truly have a sense of awareness. They really do take time to evaluate what they're thinking, how they may want to say something or not say something, or the timing of when they want to say something. They might wait until they're asked or get consent to offer an opinion. Be asked if it's welcome. Honest people are okay, I think, to take a process with something, which again is another universal law, the universal law of process.
And awareness to say or not say something does not mean that you say, oh, well, I could say something mean, but I'm not going to.
Right. Yeah, you're not catty about it. I like how you're pointing those things out, by the way.
Yeah, because again, I think these are very ignorant ways that people believe they are honest or truthful.
Okay, good. I like what you're doing because you're showing the negative and I'm bringing in some of the positive aspects. So when someone is aware and takes the time to be aware of the truth of what they really think or what they really feel, you can go through a better process, because if it's unhealthy or it's just always negative, then you might sit there and go, I'm always negative. It allows you to sit there and go, is it actually true? Do I need more information? Do I need to seek another opinion? Geez, are there other options or choices? When we sit in that space, more things become open to us. And that's one of the gifts of honesty. And I really want people pleasers to hear that.
Yeah, because when you tell a lie, even like you're saying, if it's to please someone else, you put yourself in a corner. You have less options now, and less options that are possible to open up to you in the future because you've stuck yourself in the corner with the lie.
Yes, that's right.
And you got to crawl out.
Yeah, and you have to do things sometimes from the wrong intention. And if people really pick up on that, they may question you on it, and then you have to lie again.
And this law, yes, that's exactly it. And this law, you're making my point here, is that this one spills over into all the others.
Oh, yes.
Because if you're not honest, you've lost the law of integrity.
Yeah.
You have challenged the law of balance. You have given up Oh, I'm losing my words here. Fuck.
Oh, I think I did that to you. Oh my God, I am so sorry.
It was so
I was
clear.
just, no, wait, it was clear and I fucked up your thinking because I just panicked in my head and went, oh my God, she's wrapping up the whole show all at once. Stop.
Well, thanks.
I did. I am so sorry. I just, in my head, I just freaked out and went,
Sorry. I'll
oh,
stop.
holy crap, she's going so fast. She's naming all the laws. No.
My apologies.
I just wanted to explain why you had a brain freeze
Thank you.
and be honest about it.
Why did it just shut right off?
It did.
Okay.
And then I realized, oh my God, I just did that. I just told her in my head to stop.
For anyone listening, they already know Kelly jumps, Karen brings it back, Karen gets on tangents, Kelly brings it back to the point. We have rules.
Go ahead.
Well, no, you turned it off.
Okay. Oh, I know. I feel really bad. I'm really sorry.
No, it's fine. We can laugh and joke about it.
Okay. So what you were doing though, Kelly, I just want to bring it back to what you were saying and really give it its value because of what you were doing. You were just showing each person that's listening to this that there's an opportunity to learn and know every single one of the universal laws and how important they are to know because they play out because honesty is the basis of all of them.
Yes. And if you are one of those ignorant people or uneducated, either or, and you're walking in saying, what's my block? This is probably it. Because if you're sitting in the law of attraction, but you don't want to work or you don't want to self-evaluate, then you don't have the foundation of honesty, which means you don't understand process. Right? So you really do take away all of your own options, thinking it's just supposed to work. And it doesn't.
And there is in itself what you just described the definition of anxiety.
100%.
And depression.
Yep. But also, yeah, okay, let's go that direction instead. That's fine.
I do want, as much as I do want to hear everything that you have to say, I do want to make those points because it is one of the reasons. One, I don't want anybody listening to this to think, wow, I suffer with anxiety or depression and they're telling me that I'm a liar all the time. Well, yeah. And yes, could you listen really carefully with love, with kindness? Because we're talking about that you could be lying to yourself.
Yes. And I think this is incredible that you're bringing this up today. This is really funny because we said we were going to do light shows in December.
Well, I wanted heartwarming, beautiful shows people wanted to listen to.
Okay, so one of my favorite things about doing treatments is the debriefing process.
Yes.
And I say that because the point of debriefing with someone is so that they can leave and not feel crazy. And one of the best things that all the affirmations do throughout the entire session is make them feel not crazy. So if what we can do is sit here today and say, your anxiety is actually very simple. I think that's what people want to hear when they walk into a doctor's office and go, we can fix that, quote unquote, here's a pill. And they hear, oh, it's that simple. It's going to go away with just a pill. We want simplicity, but we're not willing to actually ironically work for it. So if you knew that anxiety and depression is a simple thing to deal with, if it's not a chemical imbalance, if it really is just that I am not honest with myself, then you don't have to go searching for an existential crisis that you have to find your way out of. It's just one honest decision at a time.
I remember years ago being invited to go out for coffee with friends. And I didn't like coffee, but I was going because I didn't want to be not invited or not part of the group anymore. So my fear, I'll say in this example, my fear of not being included in a group or my fear of being excluded, I'll say was my reason or my excuse to lie. And to lie to the group, but also to myself too about the coffee. Now, some people might listen to me and go, get real. Are you serious? This is just about coffee. And I think, is it? Can it be something like, if you're thinking for yourself, maybe it's not coffee issue for you, but it could be drinking. It could be partying.
Could be just missing out on the stories or being able to say you were there. It's FOMO in a very general general sense.
But for that fear of missing out, I'm just likening it or comparing it to that people might not understand it in the sense of coffee, but they can understand it in the sense of drinking alcohol. Or it could be doing drugs with a group of people. If you all hang out and do, I don't know, pot or something together. But whatever it is, it can be anything. It can be that you're participating in an event even that you really don't believe in. That's what I'm saying. So at the bottom of that, I had to be able to sit back and go, okay, do I actually like coffee? So the whole idea then for me was, well, let's get some different flavors. Let's see if I like caffeinated, decaffeinated. Do I like all these different roasts? And I could open up a door at that point and say, could I be curious? Do I or don't I?
Well, you also described this as a very different situation the first time we were trying to run through the story. And that was, I want to go for the company. And
Right.
if you aren't willing to lie about coffee, then you could sit there and go, yeah, I'll grab a tea. I still want their company. I still want to be a part of the group. Or, you know what? I'll bring my own water, or I'll bring my own juice, or you know what? I'll just get a little snack while I'm there. Mm-hmm. Your options open up when you're honest about what you want, which is the universal law of intention.
Oh, I like what you're saying, and that you're giving another option to trying different types of coffee. So you're saying to people, see different choices. And that allows you to go back into being an honest person. I love that. Thank you. That tidies it up beautifully, Kelly. So another point to be made to people is that if you're honest, it allows you a better chance to connect to people. It allows you an opportunity to be more open, to share who you are, to share what you actually do like or what you actually are interested in.
And if you go back to what Lost Connections was our Sips of Sanity episode, part of, or the majority of what anxiety and depression is a lost connection to something. And this is lost connections to actually literally being connected to other people. Meaningful engagement.
Right. And also that you're losing your connection to yourself.
Yeah.
Because some people will say things like, I'm taking time off, or I'm working on discovering who I am. And it's like, yeah, how are you doing that? What does that actually look like? And we've talked about that in other shows where people say that they're meditating, or that they're prayerful, or that they're seeking to know who they are, getting in touch. There's all kinds of phrases about it. And what we're trying to say here today is that honesty and looking deeply at your own honesty is a way to connect. It is finding yourself. This is the tool. It's connecting to yourself, and from that, other people now connect to you authentically, as opposed to when you're faking it, and other people think that they're your best friend or your partner or your spouse, and you're not really letting them to connect to you. And I don't think people really, truly understand that. I'm hoping today they're going to hear it and go, what? Hit the pause button and play it again.
I know for me, like when you're talking about events, Eric has asked me to go out fishing with him when we're at the cottage. And he'll say, let's go out on the boat and let's go fishing. And that's what he's excited for. And I will sit there and go, I could enjoy that. Do you mind if I bring a book? Or are you wanting me to fish? And so I get to clarify in that and be honest in it that I'm more than happy to sit in the middle of the lake with that beautiful scenery and fresh air if I can enjoy the event I like. And I can enjoy your presence while you're happy doing your thing.
Yeah.
But if what you're wanting is to connect to someone over the same activity, that's cool. It's just not me. And maybe call a friend or ask your dad.
Oh, I like that, because what you're pointing out in that one is that honesty creates clear communication.
Yeah, I have zero intention of holding a rod unless you say to me, here, can you hold this for a sec?
Right. Love it. Now you're talking about the quality of relationships. You're talking about an ability that when we're honest within ourselves, we have the foundation then to collaborate with other people. As opposed to thinking that we're collaborating, we're being part of the team, but we might really be sabotaging it if we're not in alignment with it honestly. Okay. I'm going to move to some of the questions now.
Okay.
All right. So I took some of these off the internet, and I do want people to know that this can be the time that you get out your pen and paper. We've encouraged some of you, or any of you, whoever want to find a place to put higher emotional intelligence questions so that they're ready and handy for you. So if you've decided to do like a Rolodex or write them on your phone, jot them down on Post-it notes, put them on a calendar, a cork board, dry erase board, chalkboard. What else can you think of?
You're doing a great job.
Yeah. Any way that you can to create your resources. Here come some of the questions. And I'm going to say them, Kelly, but I know that you may add and also reword them for people.
Sure.
Okay. Under what circumstances or situations do you or will you lie? I think of health issues.
Oh, yeah.
I think of how many people will step into a doctor's office or any health area and or a spouse who says, you've been saying you've got chest pain. Did you book an appointment with the doctor? And they lie and go, yeah. And they know they didn't. Mm-hmm. Right? Or you go see the doctor and they say, what are you here for? And you say, oh, just my physical. You don't actually say what you're there for.
Mm-hmm. Well, we see a lot of this in treatments where we'll be channeling the person who's crossed over and we'll say, oh, I'm getting that they had this pain and this pain. And the person will say, I can't confirm that. They never spoke about their pain. If we asked them how they were doing, they always said fine. Yeah. And you know what? You might sit there and go, yeah, but my dad never wanted to inconvenience us or my mom never wanted to worry us. Okay, that's different. And that's still lying.
Yeah.
You can say, I'm not in a good place today. I'm in a lot of pain, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's honesty.
Yes. And it's critical because some, as you and I have heard, some of these very people have died instead of getting help. Mm-hmm. And then the family that's left on earth is really angry.
Oh, yeah.
So they're coming to us because they can't resolve their anger. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Your dishonesty can cause someone so much pain that they can't move on or forward with their lives because their anger is so great.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yes.
And you're not here to resolve that. And good luck doing that from the other side. We have said that this little perfect alignment that has to happen where the human has to desire or hear our name 50 times or for 5 years before they get in our door so that the person who has died, who has been dishonest and created this mess can finally go, oh, okay, they actually found a medium. I can get this message to them. Yeah. That is hard.
Yeah. And then for them to say, I am here to apologize to my humans because I wouldn't get help, because I wasn't honest about the pain I was in.
Mm-hmm. And they have to be at a certain point in their anger to even be willing to hear it.
Yes.
Because that doesn't, just because they show up at our house doesn't really mean that they're ready to even take your apology or work with you for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, another question. Do you exaggerate?
Oh, fuck. I literally just said to someone the other day in this session, I was like, stop being dramatic. And she was like, Jesus, what? No. And I was like, no, just stop being dramatic. Like, just give me the facts here.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah, not because different parts of a story aren't important, but if you're an exaggerator, then there is a whole lot of dishonesty in there.
Yep. Oh, yes. Are your words and your actions congruent? Or I guess you could say,
do you walk your talk?
Yes.
Do you say one thing and do another?
Go on.
Are you a gaslighter?
That's awesome.
Are you being gaslit?
See, and this is something about the dishonesty. When people think, oh, I'm enjoying the show, and it's nice if they keep it positive. But if you go to when we're being dishonest, that we're actually gaslighting other people, and we're actually gaslighting ourselves. And that some people gaslight themselves so continuously in a lifetime. Yes. And then they're in full-blown narcissism.
So fun.
And they don't know how they got there. So we're trying to break the steps down.
And if you're still struggling, go back and listen to Sips of Sanity from November.
Okay. Is your behavior dependable?
healthily dependable. I got a few people I can depend on to be late. I have a few people I can depend on to not do the job 100% or see things through.
Right.
I can depend that they will suck.
Right. Okay. Okay. I like how you're saying that. So
Right?
are you dependable in a healthy way?
Yeah, there are people that I can walk into a conversation and say, "Hey, this thing's going on in my life. I need some good advice." And I can depend on them that they are going to give me a complaint. And I was like, that's not what I'm here for. I even clarified what I was here for. Mm-hmm. Right?
I like that. Do you make excuses?
Grow up.
I'm just saying these are wonderful questions.
Yes.
Okay.
So wonderful.
Do you promise and not follow through? And we can reword that one.
Well, you have in some of your previous
Yeah.
ones.
Do you make another's interests as important as your own?
And this isn't about people pleasing.
That's right.
This is about giving someone the floor,
Yes.
giving them their time, sharing. Right? This is kindergarten stuff, in fact.
It should be. And I want to say something. I do think that there are many kindergarten and grade 1 and 2 teachers or whatever. I don't want, you know what I mean? Primary, that really do work on teaching children these things.
That is show and tell.
Yeah. And then I think about how skewed that gets as we grow. As we become older, we learn to lie. And I want to say something. I think a lot of people learn dishonesty right in their own homes watching their parents.
100%.
They watch, say, the dad asks the mom a question and the children can know that mom is lying and can't say anything because they see the parents as the ones running everything, the bosses.
They're looking at it going, oh, that's how that works.
Yes. And then emulating that. And the parents thinking it's funny, wink, wink, at the kids, or just doing it to their spouse, male, female, doesn't matter. Doing it to the spouse right in front of the children at all ages, including newborn babies, and think that the children don't know and are not observing it or are not smart enough to know the difference. And I want to have people pause in that regard so that they can sit back and go, she said babies. So it's never too soon to begin. And I want to say that in another way. It's never too soon to begin and turn to the person, if you're listening to the show, and come clean on something.
Yeah, that's the law of humility.
Yeah. And as soon as you do, trust is deepened or can begin in some cases.
If you're willing to follow through. Otherwise, it's just lip service.
Okay, but
Yes.
I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to say when you take those steps, the things that you can get from that. And why. This show is about the reasons why you bother to be honest. Because it gives you deeper relationships, because it takes you out of anxiety and depression, because it gives foundation to your work environment. It means that your boss knows who's dependable, or your coworkers, or whatever the situation is. Okay, so those were the questions that I put together for people so that if you've got your little Rolodex or whatever going, that you can add that. And perhaps you take maybe one of the questions and kind of make it like on a Post-it note and stick it on your head, or on someone else's head so you can read it all the time. And try to get used to maybe one question so that you can literally pause as you're doing things and make it small. So if it's the weekend, it's Saturday morning, you're listening to this, maybe you just try for the rest of the day on Saturday to see how often you stray outside of being an honest person. And I don't just mean when others are asking you questions, but as well in your own thoughts. So if somebody says, what do you want to do this afternoon? That maybe you've taken the time in the morning while you've had your shower or something, made your bed, whatever, that you've thought about what you want to do in a day so that your answer can come from an honest place. Even if you're not going to get your needs met, you're still being honest about what it was you wanted in the day.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for preparing that.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay. So again, thank you to listeners. If you're just tuning in by audio, we always appreciate your interest. And again, that you bother to tune in, you bother to share. That means a lot to us. And if you're listening from Patreon, thank you so much to everyone who has financially supported us and continues to give us wonderful feedback and content to generate more and more shows. So if you have questions or comments about today's show, you can email us at info@bysarlo.com. Otherwise, we are back out next week with a brand new show.